roaming implementation, diesel filling for DigiSets, traffic restoration and monitoring, sail and wheel deployment. So these three phases, pre-disaster, during disaster and post-disaster, I will tell about the life situation. So let me tell about India. You see, India has a vast coastline, and the entire coastline is actually cyclone affected. You can see very high cyclone, moderate cyclone. So in Odisha, Odisha is actually is the belt of very high cyclone, and cyclone visits Odisha every 5 to 6 years. So I'll just tell about a case study of a disaster in Odisha, that is a cyclone, when I was also involved in this preparedness. Let me tell what is a cyclone. A cyclone is a very large mass of air ranging from 400 kilometer to 1000 kilometer diameter with low pressure surrounded by high pressure air mass. Due to unequal heating of Earth's surface pressure, difference arises and strong wind blow in a spiral motion towards the low pressure center from all directions because of rotation of Earth around its own axis, causing a cyclonic gale of more than 50 km per hour. But in a super cyclone is a one wind speed encountered in core area of the tropical cyclone equals or exceeds 226 km per hour. So this is actually, we know about the cyclone, and we have prepared the pre-cyclone preparedness and mock drill like high-rise foundation, trolley digi readiness, zonal spare location, cow tower readiness, mock drill in zonal locations, sail and wheel, war room preparation. What I want to say is that we must be prepared before the disaster happens, because once disaster happens, we will not have time to do all these things because the situation will be completely different. So this is particularly the case study of that cyclone. The prior to the cyclone sensing and seriousness of situation, a pre-cyclone meeting has been organized that we call this State Telecom Disaster Coordination Committee meeting with all the telecom service provider on 28th April 2009. And pre-cyclone exercise was done by all the telecom service providers, including Mountry. A control room was opened by DOT to monitor the telecom network status of all the telecom service providers. All the telecom providers are opened their control rooms also. A cyclone preparatory meeting was held under the chairmanship of the Chief Secretary of Odisha and decided to keep the 18 National Disaster Response Force teams in readiness for pre-positioning. Intra-circle roaming among all the telecom service provider was tested and made ready for implementation of the telecom network. DG battery etc. are tested and sufficient diesels are stored in the major locations for at least 2 days of running. The priority call routing was implemented so that all those who will be involved in the post-disaster activities get uninterrupted service in the time of congestion of the network. So, with this actually, these are the some of the how the telecom service providers prepared themselves. These are the some of the checklists: control room, intra-circle roaming, priority routing, diesel filling, making mobile DG ready, making all utility materials ready, making charge battery banks, other resource requirements, technicians and riggers ready, inter and intra-city fiber links and map, fiber material, splicing machines, splicer ready, vehicles ready, boards ready, safety gadgets ready, rapid restoration team at critical locations, adequate spares availability, making sail and wheels ready. So these are some of the checklists that all the telecom service provider or internet service provider or infrastructure providers has to be made. You see, if we are not ready with all the checklists, once just a strike, we may not have sufficient time to do all these things. And this is an example. This is the windy picture of the cyclone. The super cyclone Fani originated in Bay of Bengal on 24th April. The location of the cyclone Fani was broadcasted to different media like TV and newspaper. There are messages by Indian Meteorological Department that a super cyclone is coming. So the message has come on 24th April. So due to this ICT and satellite pictures, we know that a super cyclone is coming far ahead of the occurrence. So it could also be possible to see the exact location of the super cyclone in some of the international websites like www.windy.com that I have shown you. All telecom service providers are one prepared for the cyclone. There is a warning that cyclone Fani to be intensified into a severe cyclonic storm on 29th April 2019 and is likely to intensify further into a very severe cyclonic storm in the next 12 hours. So you see, this is the advantage of ICT. This is the advantage of satellite communication. This is the advantage of the technology. Earlier in 1999, there was a cyclone where 10,000 people in Odisha have died. But in 2019, not a single person has died, though it was a very severe cyclonic storm. So, what it means that due to the precaution, due to the ICT, the life has been saved. So it has made landfall on the south of Puri town at Satpada and Brahmagiri. Puri and Bhubaneswar, both cities, were in the eye of the cyclone. So the eye of the cyclone has perimeter of 28 kilometers. The speed of wind was 200 kilometers per hour to 250 kilometer hour. You see, what I want to tell is that now we know that okay, the cyclone is coming, the cyclone will hit at this place, so we have to be made ready. And as you know, Bhubaneswar is the capital of Odisha and it is the major center of Odisha. So this is a pictorial diagram of how the cyclone has come, at what time, what is the speed, and how it has moved. It has come to Puri, come to Bhubaneswar, go to Cuttack, then go to Baleshwar. You see, the time is important. At what time it will strike? We should be ready. It is just like a war. It is like a war with nature. In this case, we are not to do anything except to prepare ourselves for the disaster management. So the landfall has happened in Puri with a wind speed is of more than 200 kilometers. And what has happened actually? This is a typical diagram showing before the disaster, after the disaster, during the disaster. So the disaster strike on 3rd May. You see, we come to know about the disaster on 24th April. So 24th to 2nd May, we have the time and we must prepare ourselves for from 24th to 2nd May. Once the 3rd May, it strikes, the situation has changed. What has happened? The power completely cut off. The entire power was disrupted. And you will imagine there was no electricity for 5 to 6 days in the capital city Bhubaneswar. It was something like you return to the pre-electricity era. There was no electricity for 4 or 5 days, and all the trees are on the road. So there is no road. You cannot have a good transport. You cannot visit all the places. So this is the situation. You see, after the disaster, before the disaster, we are in the 21st century. After the disaster area looks like a war area, and it is like an 18th century pre-electricity era. So pre-electricity era, no communication, you cannot drive your vehicle. So it was a completely helpless situation, and the power was partly restored on 12th May. the strike, the cyclone strike on 3rd May, and the power restored on 12th May, then partly. So, what it means is that we must be ready that if there is no power, how we can take care of, how to take care of the different type of emergency situations. So we must have the DG set should be ready. So once DG is ready, what do we need? The petrol. Where the fuel will come from? If the fuel vehicle could not move, so we have to make arrangements for all those things, keeping in view that there is a complete disruption. So this is a typical Fani and devastation. On 3rd May 2019, the super cyclone Fani has devastated the 11 coastal districts of Odisha. It has damaged and completely the power and telecom network, grounding the towers, damaging the telecom system. 80% trees are on the ground. 30% trees were completely uprooted. For 8 days, there are no electricity in Bhubaneswar. For 15 days, there are no electricity in Puri. On 10th May only, 25% electricity has been restored in the capital city of Bhubaneswar. So, this is a typical picture how it has affected 14 districts, 20,367 villages. It has affected 1.6 crore population. It has affected 1.5 lakh hectare of crop. It has affected 85 lakh of livestock. 5 lakh houses has been damaged. Total 280 towers were damaged within half an hour. All of a sudden, Bhubaneswar and Puri were looking like a war devastated place, with almost all places affected by it. Many trees are broken, buildings are damaged. These are some of the pictures of various towers, mobile towers that was broken in and around Puri and Bhubaneswar. So, you see, devastations due to Fani is an energy. 30 lakh consumers have no electricity. 60 high tension towers damaged. 6,000 kilometer of 33 kV line damaged. 1 lakh kilometer of 11 kV line damaged. Infrastructure 782.28 kilometer of river, 151 number of bridges, 317 number of culverts, 4,000 means you see also in water supply. Water supply, lift irrigation projects were damaged. So all this has happened. So in this case, you see, telecommunication was there. Though there was no electricity, telecommunication was there for the entire period. For a very short time, there was some disruption, but at that time, the landline was there. Though the terrestrial telecommunication towers were damaged, the landlines were working. The gateway of cellular service providers were also down. Phone and internet along the entire coast of Odisha are made into uselessness. In various places, the optical fiber was also affected. Satellite phones, sorry to say, at that time, the satellite phones lacking the SOP at some of the places remained unused. And digital mobile radio stopped working with breakdown of phosphor. The antenna VSAT system installed was blown away. So with this situation, this is a typical again this is a typical destruction. The electricity, the telecom, the trees, the roads, banks, ATM, water supply, houses, hotels, and other infrastructure. With this, all these things, the most important is we have to, once disaster strikes, the other objective is to have immediate relief and restoration. The immediate connectivity, road connectivity, telecom connectivity, and also making all our services operational. See, the roads were actually blocked. So, first thing is the NDRF. The job of NDRF was to clear the roads. Once the roads are cleared, then only the vehicle will move. The vehicle will move, and things will start. So this is some of the challenges for restoration in telecom. See, what has happened? The OFC has been damaged, but when the trees were uprooted, the JCB machine, when they take care of the trees, uprooted trees, they further damage the OFC cords. So the OFC cords has actually increased due to the JCB machines. So we have given a guideline that okay, when you are making some arrangement for road cutting restoration, tree cutting, please take care of the OFC routes. Similarly, logistics for diesel distribution because the roads are closed, so the diesel vehicle cannot. So you cannot have diesel delivery at the because there is no power. You need diesel, but the diesel delivery vehicle how it can move? The roads is closed, and access issues in sites having damages. So there are a lot of access issues in different places. All the big trees were there, and another thing, the tower has been damaged. The entire big towers has been damaged. And these mini links which were placed in the towers, they are dislocated. So you cannot just at that time, how can you restore immediately? So you have to think all these things before the disaster strikes. Because after the disaster, I will be facing this type of difficulties. Then BTS antenna dislocation, damages, the equipment damages, DG failure due to fatigue. Because you see, DG cannot run for 6-7 days. There is a limit. So there is possibility that DG may be failed. Climate and food, water. This is most important. If people don't have food, people don't have water to drink. So you have to give them food. You have to give them drinking water. And if you don't have water supply mechanism ready, how can you give the drinking water? And delay in restoration of power supply because the is most important is power supply, the electricity connection. If electricity is not there, you will be too much dependent on DG sets. And once you are too much dependent on DG sets, you have to have diesel. And so all these things actually has to be kept in mind before the disaster, during the disaster, and also after the disaster, so that we can quickly. So you see, these are the some initiative. You see, if there is no power, so what you have to do? So you have to first restore the power supply at the critical locations, like the MSC, BSC, and to supply the fuel at the doorstep for running the DG. The deployment planning for installation of mobile towers, intra-circle roaming enabled. Because if you don't have intra-circle roaming at that time, you cannot have a competitive telecom structure. So all the telecom service provider has to think as if they are one. So any customer, wherever he finds a network, he should be able to make a call because that is most important. Most important is life. Most important is connect. So the entire all telecom service providers have allowed the intra-circle roaming. So they behave as if a one telecom company because at that time we have to think most important is the life of the people and how to connect with each other for restoration. And similarly, sometimes also high power radiation has been used so that some places also will get connected. And coordination with state government for providing rooftops of government buildings for installation of mobile towers on emergency basis. Coordination with police department for helping telecom service providers in case of law and order situations due to extraneous reason. Because what has actually happened, people say we need water fast, we need food fast. So they say, no, you don't come to a, suppose there is a tower in somebody's house, he will prevent. You cannot come because the tower is broken. I will not allow you to come inside. So at some places we need the help of police so that we will restore the telecom services and prepare and supply list of important public service locations. And our point is that at those points there should be immediate telecom connectivity if there is not telecom connectivity. and regular meetings, physical meetings of among all the stakeholders like telecom service providers, collectors, state government secretariat, because our objective is faster restoration. So these are some of the summary that I have already told. And after we have listened about the natural disaster, let me tell about the disaster like COVID. Actually, this is a disease outbreak. But during this disease outbreak also, the telecom has played a very important role. As you all know, people have not allowed to move from their house to office. There is a complete restriction. So the only option was to work from home. Work from home has been facilitated by telecommunication. And actually, this has also given a very good message that if there are some emergency situations, we must prepare our ecosystem in such a way that all the developments, all the offices, all the working things should not be concentrated at one place. It should be distributed. There should be distributed development. As you know, I always advocated a concept called total development of each local area. I call it shortly TODOLA, TODOLA. Why? Because we have millennium development, we have sustainable development goals. But with all these goals also, our many local areas are not developed, are still undeveloped. So we have to focus that each and every local area, not only of India, not only of Asia, but the entire world, all the local areas has to be totally developed. And the first point is of total development is it should have broadband connectivity. It should have internet connectivity. It should have high-speed mobile connectivity. Once you have high-speed broadband connectivity, you can rearrange your activity so that people, where there is no need to go to a big city for your job, you can do that one sitting in your village or in your small town, all those activities. For example, suppose you are working in a blast furnace. So you have to stay very close to blast furnace. That is important. But when you are actually doing a software development, when you are doing something which is not geography dependent, not just like a blast furnace job, it should be distributed in all the local areas. I am saying all local areas because the first industrial civilization has made people to migrate from villages to cities. But with telecommunication, with internet connectivity, with broadband connectivity, that first industrial revolution, whatever has done migration, the fourth industrial revolution will make the reverse migration. So the COVID actually has taught us a lesson that we should make each local area totally developed so that if some disaster like COVID comes, it will not affect many people because they will work from their nearest place with high-speed broadband connectivity. With less traveling also, they can be able to have a very good life in their local area. And as you see, this coronavirus, the COVID, has taught the entire world. Please don't crowd the big cities so much because it has impacted very much in big cities, whereas the rural areas, small villages, has no such impact because there was no such physical connectivity very often. So it gives a message. And another message I just want to tell you that telecommunication has played a very, very major role in dissemination of messages. Messages in different languages. For example, in Odisha, as many as 56.14 crore messages advisory on COVID-19 has been disseminated to the people through SMS of DOT during lockdown and shutdown period. And it has connected each and every people due to broadband connectivity. So people have not felt that as if they are disconnected. So 80% of people have worked from their home. This is the advantage of telecommunication during disaster. So it does not mean that disaster is always a natural disaster. So there may be many types of disaster. Today, COVID has come, sometimes plague, sometimes diarrhea, sometimes other diseases. So we must be prepared that we have to rearrange our thought process so that with telecommunication, with broadband connectivity, we have to have a distributed development throughout all our local areas. That's why I say total development of each local area should be our slogan in 2030. Just like we have Millennium Development Goal, we have Sustainable Development Goal. We think all our development goals are sustainable if we give all the development facilities to all the people of the world, because the world is so much big. It should give total development for all the people. And with this, I will come to another disaster. Actually, this disaster has happened in 2023. So what has happened is that the disaster has happened all of a sudden at 7 p.m. in the night on 2nd June 2023. What has happened? Three trains collided nearer to Baleswar and made it an disaster. Why? Because there were casualties. The 17 coaches of these two trains have been derailed and severely damaged. You see, whenever there is an accident, whenever there is a disaster, the first important point is connectivity, telecommunication connectivity. You don't know that disaster will happen just now. All of a sudden, disasters happen. So, are you prepared to face the disaster at that particular point of time? So, after the disasters happened, immediately helpline numbers has been issued, and these helpline numbers have been made priority numbers. So, priority routing has been done, treating all the helpline numbers as high priority numbers. Immediately, intra-circle roaming was activated among the telecom service provider in the accident-prone area in a radius of 50-kilometer area. But sorry to say, the network augmentation has taken some time, and I think it has taken 1 day for network augmentation and to install the sail on wheel, because nobody was prepared that accident will happen in such a remote place where there is very difficult to move also because of different reasons. And another important point that the ICT has played is with artificial intelligence and facial recognition power solution for telecom SIM subscriber verification, that is called. It was used to recognize the face of the victims. It is also an important place. After identifying the body of the victims, their families were connected. This accident, this Vahanagar train accident, has also given a lesson that, for example, some days back we have a landslide in Kerala. This landslide in Kerala is an example of how a disaster can happen and it may disrupt the life. And that is the reason I am just talking about the very small type of the most important earthquake, that is the earthquake. I have not taken example of earthquake, but this earthquake, particularly in Japan, has caused a major disruption If you can see the nuclear stations, and this is actually, let me come to this picture now with all the stories of a local disaster, at a disaster at a particular place like Odisha, which is a small state. If we come to see the color of the disasters more than 14, you see the America, the big countries, United Kingdom. So disasters is not only the cyclone, the earthquake, the extreme temperature, heat wave, storm, flood, drought. But particularly extreme temperature, heat wave, so there will be no impact on telecom. So connectivity will be there. So most important is the earthquake. What happens in earthquake? Entire structure is demolished. So the only option may be satellite communication, which is not in the ground. And you can see this occurrence of disasters. The storm, the flood is very often comes. Then is a storm, the cyclone, then landslide, glacial-like outburst. So what I want to tell is that we in the during disaster we should not think we are a country or we are a nation. We should be thinking that the world is a family. The Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Wherever there is a disaster, all the countries who are not affected by disaster should immediately come to help the other geography, because a small island may not have all the capabilities to face the disaster. So the only option is that the people from other countries should immediately rush to the places like the island. Because when we are saying international arena, just like a cyclone from Odisha, there are many small islands which are very dangerous for this type of disasters. So I am talking of Asia. You see, in Asia, we have many floods in Southeast Asian countries. And all these floods, all these earthquakes, all these cyclones, these are actually beyond a national identity. So we must think as a whole world, we should think how we can minimize the life loss, economic loss due to the disasters, and how we can provide the connectivity, restore the telecommunication connectivity in minimum time. Because if suppose somebody is heavily injured, he need ambulance. If the ambulance comes to his place in minimum time, his life will be saved. And what it needs a phone call. And if you don't have a phone call, then the life is lost. So, see, in every aspect, the telecommunication plays a very important role. So, I will ask all the telecom fraternity to think beyond the nation and also visit the places after the disaster to have a feel that, okay, you see, this is the situation. And with this situation, how we can help, how we can help the disaster affected people, the disaster affected region, how we can restore the connectivity, and particularly now in consider of Kerala, you see, the Kerala case, so many people have died with so much early warning system. I think we should now act in such a way that the life loss should be minimum. because that is most important. In a disaster, if there is zero casualty, we will say that our ICT system, our communication system, our early warning system is successful. And for that, actually, all of us should be, you see, another I am telling you WhatsApp. Earlier, this WhatsApp was not used, but during funny, there was very less internet connectivity at some places. So whenever some people get signal, they send immediately broadcasted the message that this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. So becomes a major communication engine. So because the voice connectivity may come later, the most important is the internet or the broadband connectivity or the data connectivity. If there is a small data connectivity. So in case of 4G, in case of 5G, we are more equipped to face the disaster. Now in the 5G, we can make the entire local area disaster proof. How can you make disaster proof? If we have sensors, if we have CCTV cameras, if we have all the connected system, IoT system throughout the local area, then each local area can be a disaster proof local area. That is also a part of our concept called total development of local area. We should not say or we should not leave a local area as a poor local area. The rich people of cities should pay sufficient attention so that each of the local area has to be totally developed. Totally developed means it should be totally disaster proof. Because you see, drought is also a disaster. If people don't have food, that is a disaster. If people don't have a good living condition, that is a disaster. If people are poor, that is also a disaster. Because people will die if they don't have food. So it is not that only natural disasters are there. There is economic disasters, there is disease disaster, there is health disaster, and all these cases now, as an advanced civilization, as the people of 21st century, we should use all our technology at disposal, so that each local area can be totally developed, can be disaster proof, so that in the future, wherever there disaster comes, we should be well prepared, both in telecom sector and also the health sector, power sector, and all other sectors. You see, we are considering now everything is smart. The city is smart. What is city smart if it is not able to face the disaster? If there is a flood and the entire city is protected, how can you call a city as a smart? So what is happening is that we are focusing so much on one place. So if all people are moving and staying at one place. So when the disaster strikes, it strikes maximum level. If the people are distributed, if the development is distributed, if the city is well prepared to face the flood, if there is heavy rain also, the city must be prepared to face the disaster. If the city is prepared to face the disaster properly, then it can be considered a smart city. You cannot make a city smart just by putting some technical gadgets. Our objective is the final objective. What is the final objective? The final objective is total development of its local area. Then only, if our city flood has come, it has not affected people. Cyclone has come, it has not affected people. Natural disasters has come, it has not affected. Then only we will call a smart city. But I don't call something as a smart, as a city. Because I am concerned about the local area where city may be in the middle, surrounded by villages. If we just focus on making city smart, smart, smart with high floods, then what is the point? We have to consider city and along with the villages, and we should consider it as a independent local area in case of disaster. Because in case of disaster, it has to survive on its own. That is the plan. If we are planning ahead, so when the disaster strikes, we'll be able to face it. We will be able to face it. So the message is henceforward, let the 4G, 5G, ICT prepare in such a way that we must be disaster proof. The disaster will not kill a single person. We should be prepared to do that. Then only we can consider that our plans, our actions is successful. And it is not only for a small geography, it is for the entire world. We have to now think for the entire world. With this, I thank all the participants for listening to me. Thank you. Thank you. So, any question or any things? Uh,
Participants, do we have any questions?
I will love to interact with the people from around the world.
Yes, exactly, sir, exactly.
Because I want each of the local area throughout world needs to be totally developed.
I think your session was focused more on the practical aspect of things. So I was expecting a lot of queries to come forth.
I have a question.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, I'm from Kenya. My name is Dr. Emma from Kenya. Thank you very much for that very interesting presentation. Actually, that I've really gotten the practicals of it, and it now puts together all the things that we've had in terms of how India has managed disaster. But one of the things, my question comes in from one of the items that I've seen in your presentation, looking like varying from what we have had this morning. For instance, where you talked about there was a cyclone, and you mentioned that the satellite was not there, or it did not serve. So, and I want to agree with you, because most of the times we talk about satellite, but when it comes to actual emergencies, you find that satellite fails us, that it's not available. Or so what is your actual experience with the role of satellite in emergency response, especially coming from a point where you have really dealt with a lot of emergencies, and you have actual experience of how to restore a situation after an emergency? What is satellite really coming through for us when it comes to emergency response? That's actually my question. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Actually, I am sorry to say, in Odisha also, during the Fani, nobody has actually used the satellite phone. So satellite phone was kept in the Almira. So all of a sudden they brought the satellite phone and it could not be used. So the satellite communication is actually most important for any type of disaster. And we must now use the satellite phones before the disaster, so that during the disaster we will be able to use the satellite. Our district collectors, they have not used the satellite phones because they have never thought that some time will come when we have to use the satellite phones. So I think all of us should use the satellite phone who are actually in the job of disaster management, because at this time the only option is satellite communication. Because the ground, suppose there is an earthquake or if there is a rapid cyclone, and all the terrestrial network is down. So we have only one option, that is the satellite communication. And we must be prepared that all the satellite communication components are well placed, so that it will not also malfunction during the disaster. Because if we are not use satellite phones on a non-disaster time, how can you use it in the disaster time? You must be ready with a satellite communication plan. Satellite communication plan. That is very good. Thank you. Any other points? I will love to interact. Please show your video. I think I will love to. I have also gone to Kenya for a 3 days conference. I like the place very much. Uh, I have
Thank
gone.
you.
Yeah, it's very nice place. It is just like on Odisha, full of forest. So I like the place very much. I have gone to
Thank you.
for a
Thank you.
yeah, I've gone to Kenya for a 3 days uh, conference, and I like the place very much. Any other place, please interact. And you make your
Hello.
video on. Let us see each other. The world is a small family. We are not. We are connected with microseconds. Earlier we are far away, but now everybody is connected. So we love to see each other. Yeah, please go ahead and ask.
Hello, this is Kweku from Ghana.
Yeah, please.
You made mention that your people do not use the satellite phones. I want to know whether if you guys don't run simulation drills or for them to test those satellite phones. Don't you run any simulation or drills to test the emergency procedures?
Yes. Now drones can be used during disaster, which has not been used in our case in the cyclone point. Now these drones also will also play a major role.
सीधा से शेयर तो कर दे, लिंक तो शेयर हो जाए.
So drones actually will play a major role.
लिंक तो शेयर हो पहले.
So I think in the future, all these cases where the roads are blocked, where the communication is blocked, the drones will actually help in very effective way. For example, in delivering diesel, in delivering the important medicines, the important things. The drones will be also very helpful during any such disaster. And I will be glad if the entire satellite communication is simulated and tested before the disaster, before any such disaster, because now the satellite communication has to be used very effectively for this type of disasters. Yeah. Any other queries, please? Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
Please. Yeah, continue. Yeah.
Good afternoon.
One by one, I think two, three people are speaking.
Good afternoon. Good morning. Ibrahim from Nigeria. I just want to ask if we can have an idea about the cost implication of deploying such a system. I'm sorry, my network is very poor. I don't know if you can hear me. The bandwidth in Nigeria is very low today due to an ongoing protest. I don't know if you got that. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I have shared my presentation, so it can be shared to all the participants. I've already shared my presentation to, so it can be shared to all the participants.
We will be sharing it with the participants. We will be sharing.
And if you have any question also, you can write in the chat box. I will be able to answer, because what we want is that more and more interaction should be there, so that people will we come to know what is the situation in different local areas. Because what is happening, different local areas have different situations, and they have different challenges. Suppose somebody is in desert, somebody is in the seashore, or somebody is at the top of the mountain. So for them, there are different types of disasters, and there are different types of environment and ecosystem altogether. So the challenges may be completely different. The challenges in cyclone may be different for the challenges in landslides, or the challenges in earthquake, or challenges in a desert storm. So there are various types of disasters. And now there is a man-made disaster that is called war. That is also a disaster. So thank you very much.
There aren't any more questions, then let me thank the sir for a very interactive and a very nice presentation, very thoughtful presentation, giving the real life situation, the cases where you regard a disaster management ecosystem. So thank you, sir. It was a very informative and a nice presentation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. I have gotten a question. We'll propose the ICR and PCR to Government of India. I think this scheme will help a lot when we have a disaster like earthquake and tsunami. Yes, I think intra-circle roaming should be always be used whenever there is an indication of a disaster. Don't consider the different telecom company are different during the disaster. Let all the telecom companies, all the telecom service provider act as a one during the disaster, because that will help the people. They can use any network. They can use any network of any TSP. So definitely it will be very much helpful during this. Any other queries you can write in the chat box so that I will be yeah.
Excuse me, can you share with us your email address?
Yeah, my email I will just I have shown my last slide. That is my email is there.
All right.
I'll just slide again here. So my email is, this is my email address, subratk.prusty@nic.in.
That's
This
great.
is my
Thank
email.
you so much. Thank
So
you.
if you want
We will
any
yeah.
query also, I'll be able to reach out.
All
And
right. Thank
if
you so
any information you can share. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. So participants, just one message that I would like to share with you all. As we have finished a bit early, half an hour early before our scheduled closing time at 4:45. So we need to prepone our last valedictory session, and we would be holding that at 4:35 p.m., 16:35 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So that is around 15 minutes from now on. So please remain connected with us. Our senior officers, our Director General and Deputy Director General are going to join with us. So please wait for the valedictory session. That is another 15 minutes from now.
So thank
Is
you.
that okay?
I think I will be leaving this.
Yeah,
now.
sure. Yeah, yes, sir. You can.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Sorry, Ashi, can I ask you some?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes. Can you please share the second presentation of yesterday and second presentation of today?
I'm not having the second presentation of the yesterday, but I'm having this presentation. I will be sharing this one immediately after.
Okay.
After
And the last presentation will be shared later?
the last presentation I have already uploaded.
No, you uploaded the first session. This is the second session for today.
I'm
Not
going
yet.
to upload it. Of the
Okay.
second section, I'm going to upload it. The only session that is missing was the second session that we had yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the second one for today later.
Yeah.
Yes.
Another announcement that I have to make is please attempt this. We aren't having any quiz today. What we have is the final exam. So we have 5 short answer type questions and 5 long answer type questions. The short answer type questions, you have to do it in 25 words, and for the long answer type, the word limit is 100 words. Do attempt all the questions because you haven't got any choice over there. 5 each in the segments, and the timeline is open till tomorrow, late till tomorrow night. So approximately, if I count it in terms of number of hours, that will be around 30 hours. What 30 this time?
So we need to finish the exam within tomorrow?
Yeah. You have got a lot of time for finishing the exam. Don't worry about the time as such. More than 30 hours.
Okay.
And the window is from 5 p.m. tomorrow today up till the midnight of tomorrow. Am I clear?
Yes, it's clear. Let's
Yeah.
wait when it is open. It's not yet open, but let's
Yeah.
see.
Just one final request. Please remain connected with us for the valedictory session. Our Director General and Deputy Director General are going to join us, and we would like to hear from you, from some of you, maybe not all, about the course as such. Is that also okay?
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Please remain connected. We will start in another 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. So, dear participants, Let me welcome you all in this valedictory session. We have with us respected Director General, National Telecommunications Institute for Policy Research, Innovation and Training, Mr. Dev Kumar Chakravarti, respected Deputy Director General, ICT, NTI, PRIT, Mr. Atul Sinha, and my colleague, Mr. Shantanu Sharma. Now that we have come to the conclusion of our insightful and enriching training program on role of ICT in disaster management, and over the past 5 days, we have embarked on an intellectual journey together, delving into the intricacies on the subject. I would request participants to please come forward and share their views, their feedbacks on the course as such. Any of the please volunteer. The participants, I would request the participants to please come forward. Yeah, Mr. Indraman. If you could unmute your mic, please.
Hi, I come from Indonesia.
Yeah,
and
please.
I learned a lot about this disaster management. So thank you very much for the knowledge.
Nice to hear that from you. And you had a lot of queries regarding the ICR and the PCR. So, what is the situation like in Indonesia? Are you implementing these things or not over there?
Yeah, I am consulting for this ministry. They invited our group 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
For a certain kind of disaster. We have some of the tower is down, but the other is not. So I think this roaming between cellular operators will be very good, right? So we are looking into this ICR idea. I think I will update you later if it is successful, because we have to, I think, have a new regulation on this. So the what you call local cellular operator will follow this direction, and all of them work together for this disaster area.
Nice to hear that from you. Is there anything else which you would like to share with us?
Yeah,
about
I think.
How do you like the course?
Yeah, I think I'm somebody proposing to use hubs, if you know this high altitude platform system. So we use like a balloon or airplane as a BTS. Okay. So if all of these towers is down, then we can still have in about 2 hours or maximum 3 hours something to connect to the people there using this airborne BTS. This is still an idea. We never know if it will happen or not. But I think ICR is, I think we will do it as soon as possible.
Fine. Thank you, sir, for sharing your views.
Thank you.
Welcome. Dr. Emma, we would love to hear from you. You have been very vocal and I've asked a lot of questions in almost all the sessions. Please come forward.
Hello, sir. Okay, from Kenya here. We are lucky that we have not had so many natural disasters, but we've had a bit of man-made, especially terrorist attacks. These are the ones that we have been experiencing most. We are grateful that they have reduced gradually, but earlier in the between 2007 and about 2013 there, it was quite a bit. We had like about 3 to 4 major bomb attacks. So those are the ones that have been giving us problems, and they caused us to have a whole disaster management authority come together. International Red Cross has been very handy in terms of assisting us to respond to disasters. Recently, the natural disasters that we have experienced are the ones for locust. We've had issues of locust attacking us in some parts of the country. We've also had floods, which is a very new phenomenon attributed to the climate change. Like this year, we've had a bit of flooding, and many people have lost lives and property because of flooding. Gradually, we are a stakeholder. We have now a framework of disaster management response, but the gap here is that ICTs has not been really used effectively or like optimally in terms of assisting. So this course has really brought us to, I was asking, actually, how can ICT come in and bridging the gap? How can ICT be leveraged in terms of early warning, like for instance, the floods? People are just waking up in the morning and they find that your house, you are floating on the river. So there's no early warning or like those projections. And the precision of projection has been a problem because most of the times the weather people who are very ahead in terms of technology, most of the times they have predicted of a situation, let's say weather change, but it fails to happen. So gradually they've become a mockery. And I think it's because of not using proper early warning technologies. So people sometimes ignore the warnings, and when they ignore the warnings, it happens. So I think if we integrate what we've learned, especially the use of ICT central to this issues of disaster response, it's going to really help our country. So this course has been extremely useful. And that's what I've been asking, because we are actually in the process of trying to put ICT in the space of assisting disaster response, and also how would we, if ICT was attacked, because I've seen the case of India, sometimes it is the BTSs that have been washed away, it's the telecoms that have been washed away. How do we respond? So it has been very useful. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Emma. It is really very heartening to note that this course has been useful, and especially I have seen in some of the sessions, and the course director, Mr. Ashik Kapoor, has always been mentioning that Dr. Emma has been a very active participant. And I really thank you very much for making the whole course very lively and very participative. Thank you, Dr. Emma.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other participant who is volunteering to share his or her view?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, please.
Can I
Please.
share my? Thank you so much, dear all. Good afternoon. It's my honor to speak at this at the closing of the role of ICT in disaster management course. I am Sevda Shabani. I joined from Baku, Azerbaijan, and it's my second time in this course in partnership of ITU with National Telecommunications Institute for Policy Research, Innovation and Training of India. So over the past 5 days, we really had the privilege of hearing from various experts who have shared their invaluable insights and experiences on leveraging information and communication technology to enhance disaster management. Like Dr. Emma also mentioned, luckily we in Azerbaijan also did not have so much disasters, but we had few strikes, earthquake strikes, which was about like 4 to 5 measurements. And fortunately, I think that this is a very crucial, this training plays very crucial role. And each presentation has highlighted the crucial role of ICT in preparing for responding to and recovering from disasters. We really have learned the latest advancements in technology that can help mitigate and actually predict and mitigate the impacts of natural and man-made disasters. So the knowledge and skills I have gained during this course will undoubtedly empower me to implement more effective disaster management strategies for my company, as well as I am a member of ICT Committee of the Republic of Azerbaijan. So by integrating the ICT solutions, I think that we can enhance our ability to anticipate disaster, streamline communication during crisis, and accelerate recovery efforts. Once again, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to ITU and the National Telecommunications Institute for Policy Research, Innovation and Training of India for organizing this insightful course. Thank you so much. Your dedication to advancing disaster management through ICT is truly, truly commendable. Thank you to all speakers, to all experts, to everyone, to organizers, to Cecilia, I think from ITU, for sharing their expertise, for organizing this training, and thank you participants for the active engagement. So I think that it's time to take what we have learned to work together to build more resilient communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sevda Shabani from Azerbaijan. It was really pleasure to listen and know that how useful this course could be for your future users for planning the disaster management plan for your country. I'm really, very happy to note that. Thank you very much for your expressing your views, Ms. Sevda Shabani. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Ashi, anybody?
Yeah. Is there anyone else who is willing to share his or her view?
Leon Lessing. Please open your mic and speak, Ms. Leon Lessing.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Yes,
Yeah,
we can.
please.
Cool. Okay, yeah, welcome everybody. Greetings from Africa. We in South Africa. And I represent some of the guys that people just mentioned in passing, the amateur radio fraternity. In South Africa, we are an integral part of disaster management. We get recognized by the regulator as well, which I have noticed moving internationally, it doesn't happen in all countries. And one thing I noticed with the presentations we had here today is everybody is stressing the point of like the common alerting protocol and all the standards. Unfortunately, I personally wrote a paper in this country about disparate communication systems, and it is a nightmare of note where each NPO, NGOs, and even governmental organizations goes off and do their own thing. And then when the disaster hits, everybody throw their hands in the air and then get the ICT experts to try and make this all work. And then because we are practicing disaster management practitioners, we get asked, well, how do we fix this? And there's the age-old saying that if you're unprepared and a disaster strikes, the time for preparation has passed. So thank you very much for this. We will definitely disseminate this information into South Africa via the disaster management structures. Good news is that in Johannesburg, in the East Rand, in a metro called Ekurhuleni, we now have later this month a meeting about a alerting system, weather alerting system, early warning system. And so we are making progress. But thank you very, very much. And it's good to see people from all over the world. Thank you for the presentations again.
Thank you, Mr. Leon. It was a pleasure listening to you. And thank you very much for taking a vow to take this learning forward to other people in the South Africa. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot helpful while planning the disaster management plan for your country. Thank you very much, Mr. Leon.
Do we have any other participant? Like to say something? Don't think, sir, anybody is coming forward.
Yes,
so.
hello.
Yeah, please.
This is Frank from Ghana. And this past 5 days has been very helpful. And I would like to thank the organizers and in practice who has taught us. And I've learned a lot from this. I hope I would be able to add up and also advocate more in Ghana, so that we can be disaster ready in case any major disaster happens. But mostly in Ghana, it's just a little earthquake that happens once a while. But it's better, we are much prepared. It's better to be prepared than not be prepared at all when disaster strikes. So that's my takeaway, and I'd like to thank everyone for how making this.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for expressing your views. We can check if anybody else. Yeah.
We have one comment from Antonio Cortes, and it's like, overall, this course covers a range of topics related to disaster management.
Come true. Thank you.
Sorry. So I was telling what Mr. Antonio Cortes has written in the chat box, and it's like, overall, this course covers a range of topics related to disaster management, addressing both very specific and very general aspects of the topic. The information provided is quite precise and valuable to be able to be implemented and tested in other similar scenarios. Thank you.
Hi,
So,
can you hear me?
yeah, Mr.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, Mr. Mani.
Good afternoon. Greeting from Algeria. I would like to just to give you an idea about the disaster management policy in my country. Actually, we have 3 satellite Earth observations. They are called ALSAT 1B, ALSAT 2B, and ALSAT 1, and they work in disaster constellation management. You know, using these 3 Earth observations. But they are launched from India in 2010. Yeah, from Chennai site in India, using the PSLV C-15 Indian launcher. So they are used. They are used in fire detections in general. This is the most disaster, occurring in Algeria. So it's very interesting, and we are working now on the future project to launch geostationary satellites for, and we'll use it in the disaster communications. We hope we can cooperate with ISRO in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Manin. It's wonderful to listen nice words for this. Thanks a lot. Ashi, there's another message. Can you please read down from Cynthia Rotich? Yeah.
Yes, sir. So it's like, it has been an enriching experience participating in this training, exploring the critical role of ICTs in disaster management. As a cybersecurity advocacy professional, I found the integration of ICTs within disaster management both critical and insightful. My takeaway has to be the emphasis on the need and importance of interdisciplinary collaboration between IT professionals, cybersecurity experts, emergency responders, and policymakers. This collaboration ensures that the ICT systems designed for disaster management are robust, secure, and tailored to the unique challenges of each disaster scenario. I look forward to applying these learnings in my advocacy work. Thank you to the entire team and training participants.
Thank you, Cynthia Rotich. I think most of the participants have spoken, Nashi. We can move ahead to the next.
Yeah, sir. I will request TDG ICT to share his views on the program.
Okay. So thank you, Ashi. I'm sure with the inputs, with the feedback that I have received from the participants, and also the level of interaction in different sessions, I hope that this course must have been very, very useful for all the participants. And I'm sure that when it comes to planning the disaster management plan, preparing the disaster management plan and mitigation plan for your countries, this learning of 1 week would become very useful and will become very handy for creating a SOP or any kind of a plan. On this forum and platform, I want to share with the participants that our association is not only confined to this 1 week of training sessions. Rather, if you, while you are preparing plans and strategies for disaster management and mitigation for your country, if you need any kind of help or support, we would, as National Telecom Institute for Policy Research, Innovation and Training, we would be very much willing, and we would be coming forward to extend that your all that help that you would be needing to whatever extent it is possible. I wish a very good day and very good time ahead, and very nice application and uses of the learnings that you had here. And please get back to NTI PRIT whenever you need any kind of consultation. That is what my message and my point here is. Thank you very much to all the participants for their active participation. My special thanks to the director of the course, Mr. Ashi Kapoor, who has taken keen interest, and he has really worked out this whole 1 week session very meticulously. My special thanks to Mr. Shantanu Sharma also, who has been really working very hard for seeing that every arrangement is done and all the study material, etc., is uploaded in time. And a lot of experts have been invited in this course, and Shantanu and Ashi has taken a lot of pains to organize these trainings, to coordinate with the experts, to convey those experts what exactly we expect from them to be delivered for our participants. So thank you very much. And I'm also thankful to our Director General, Shri Kumar Chakravarti sir, who has been always been a source of inspiration for all of us for planning such courses. Thanks to all the participants. Thank you very much. Over to you, Ashi.
Thanks a lot, sir, for your encouraging words. Now I invite DG NT BRIT, Kumar Chakravarti sir, to share his valedictory remarks.
Thanks, Mr. Ashi. On behalf of this institution, the National Telecom Institution for Policy Research, Innovation and Training, of course, I congratulate all the participants for successfully completing this 1 week course. It was a long course, but at the end of the course, when most of you have been giving the feedbacks, which are very encouraging for all of us over here, and for conducting a very important and very meaningful training session on the role of ICT in the disaster management. I also thank Mr. Atul Sinha, the DDG, Mr. Ashi Kapoor, Mr. Shantanu, and everybody who has been a part of this particular program. Friends, once learning is over, it is now the time to contribute. I think as most of you have been talking, it has been a wonderful session. There has been many takeaways for you. Now it's important actually that you contribute with this knowledge for tackling that type of disaster and for different, from the different perspectives. And one of my requests would be, every country, see, they have their own level of development, socio-economic perspective, the technological advancements and all those things. Try to develop the country-specific solution instead of running into the best in the world, best in the Europe, or best in that particular region. It is more important that you develop more and more country-specific solution which suits into your country, your region, or your part of the community. That is very important. And for that to happen, you require a massive R&D and to promote innovation in the youths, in the academic institutions. And this type of centers you must develop, which can really come forward, contribute towards it, and help you give your country-specific solution. And number two, the point is also equally important because learning has no ending. Earlier, we were talking that learning is a continuous process, but now we say that learning is a lifelong process. And it's very important when we deal with the technology. because the technology obsolescence, it is happening almost every 4 years, 4 to 5 years. Importantly also, the total content of the knowledge of the entire world, it is doubling up every 6 years. So you require to be a life learner, and that's exactly where I will request you to be in touch with this type of knowledge disseminating centers or the training centers. Let it be NTI-PRID, let it be any other institution. But every year you require to update your knowledge, because by the time you revisit the things, you will be definitely finding that more knowledge, more technical expertise, different solutions have been added to the existing knowledge. So that would be a very interesting thing. And I will be definitely looking forward to see all of you once again whenever we conduct more such courses in future. Wishing you all the best. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, sir, for sharing your insights and also for all the guidance and support for conduction of this course, sir. Thanks to Atul Sinha, sir, also for being pivotal in conceptualizing and contributing enormously in designing this course. Thanks to my teammate, Mr. Shantanu, not to forget about the ITU Academy team, including Mr. ML, Miss Celia. Thanks a lot to all of them as well. And last but not the least, my greatest gratitude to all the participants who dedicated their time, energy, and enthusiasm to this endeavor. And their active engagement, insightful questions, and valuable contributions have been the driving force behind the success of this program. I wish all the best to all the participants for their future endeavors, and may the knowledge that they have gained here continue to empower their journey towards a brighter future. Thanks a lot for the viewers.
I request everyone to please open their camera for a group photograph.
Before I forget, make the announcement about the exam. All the participants are requested to kindly see. We don't have the quiz today. What we have is an exam, 5 objective short answer type questions and 5 long type questions. You have more than 30 hours to attempt them. So please do attempt them. That's required for getting the item badge. Thanks a lot.
Please open your camera. Whosoever can open their camera, please open that. Okay. Mario is saying no camera, no problem. If you don't have a camera or any connectivity issue, it's okay. Otherwise, please open. Shantanu, is it done?
Yes, sir. Thanks, everyone.
So thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Best of luck for your exam.
Best of luck. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ashi, thanks a lot. Thank you, Shantanu.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for this
Bye,
course.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, sir. Thank you.